confusion in the world right now. A lot of things are happening. Things that people, are doing these days. It's mind-blowing. The rate of which evil in the world has multiplied is overwhelming. And the enemy behind the scene is happy seeing all these things happening. He's so much happy because he knows that men do not know how he operates. Like I said, the enemy behind the scene is rejoicing, is happy that the people of the world do not know how he operates. When God created this world, or when God created man, he wanted to be in charge of the affairs of man. He wanted to make decisions for them. He set a principle in place for man to follow so that they can live well. But man refused God's leadership over them and chose a man instead to govern or to lead them. This is what you see today. Take, for example, when the election is at hand, or when the people are trying to choose their leader, they vote and they set the leader in place. After 1 or 2 years, they begin to complain or murmur of the same leader, that same leader that they have, voted on the seat or to lead them. They begin to murmur. They begin to complain that the leader is not, making things happen. That they are disappointed in their leader or in the leader that they have voted for. This is what we see today. A lot of things are happening. In the book of 1 Samuel chapter 8, the Bible said that the people of Israel were calling out to God for God to give them a leader to rule over them. The things that we see in the world today is as a result of man ruling man. This is not God's intention. It is man who have made this decision to hearken to the voice of the enemy behind the scene. All these things we see today, killings, discrimination, racism, segregation, backbiting, war, rumors, terrorism, is as a result of man, leading man, man governing man. This is not God's way. This is not the way he has intended it to be from the beginning. But man chose for man to rule over them. And we begin to see evil multiplying day by day. Long time ago, we see in the Old Testament, when men started ruling men, there were wars. There were, different things. Men will begin to fight to secure their land. They will begin to fight for their tomorrow. They are afraid of their tomorrow because they cannot trust God to meet their need. They are afraid of their tomorrow. This is where you see racism. This is where you see xenophobia. A lot of things that are happening because people are afraid of tomorrow. They don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. They begin to fight for their tomorrow. They begin to fight to secure their land. They begin to fight to secure their borders. This is what we see today. As a result, there will be death, killings, all kinds of things. People are afraid of their tomorrow because they don't know what is going to happen. They are afraid. A lot of things are going on right now. This racism that we are seeing, xenophobia, discrimination, killings, rumors of war, terrorism, is as a result of people not trusting in the God who has created them. It's as a result of people turning their back on the God who has made them. We see so many things today. Men are taking wood, stone, things that are created by God to set up God so that they can begin to worship. This is what we see today. There are a lot of gods in this world, many gods that people worship. Take for example, there is this God they call the God of Buddha. I think it's made with stone and clay. The same clay that is used to build a house, that is used to construct in the road or whatever it is the same clay that is used to set up this God. This is what we see today. A lot of things, a lot of gods that people worship in this world. They turn their back on the living God. They turn their back on the living God. This is what we see today. A lot of things that is going on in this world today. We see so many things that are happening. It is so sad. It is so sad. People set up gods and they begin to worship. They set up idol. We have some gods that they call the god of the river, the god of the sun, the god of the moon. Some people worship cow. Some people worship elephants. Some people worship all kinds of things in this world. But there is one God, the living God, the God who created the heavens and the earth. This God, his existence is undeniable, because no matter how smart scientists are today, there are some things that they are not able to fathom, that there are some things that they are not able to prove. They cannot deny the existence of God. This is what we see today. A lot of things. This is why we are seeing what we are seeing today. There are wars. There are killings. There are all kinds of things. Terrorism. This is what we see today. It's as a result of man ruling man. When men demanded that God give them a leader to begin to lead them, we begin to see what we see today. The enemy behind the scene is manipulating the heart of man against their fellow men. But men are not seeing it. God wanted to be in the affairs of man. He wanted to be the sole provider. He wanted to be the person who made the decision. He wanted to give man everything that pertains to their life and godly living. But man said no. Take, for example, Britain coming out of the EU. It's as a result of the people of Britain afraid of their tomorrow. They are not sure of what is going to, be tomorrow. They are not sure of their children's future. So they vote and come out of the EU. They don't want to be there because they cannot trust God, for tomorrow. They believe that they needed to come out of it so that they can secure their tomorrow. This is what we see today. It's so sad. South Africans were killing their fellow South Africans because of the fear of taking their jobs. Xenophobia, they call it. This is what we see today. A lot of things that we see today in our world. The German people are saying that they are the number one in Europe. They are greater than the Britain, that they are the number one. In their national item, you will see how they display this. It is so sad. It is so sad. What about the Native Americans who are crying out, to the Europeans and saying, you have come to take our land. We are the one who own this land. It's as a result of men turning their back on God. This is so sad because they cannot trust God. It's as a result of turning away from the God who created the heavens and the earth. Europeans who have immigrated to the US are, in conflict with the black Americans who come through slave trade. Troubles. This is what we see today in the world. But they do not know that their enemy is the enemy that they cannot see. Their enemy is the enemy behind the scene. Satan is the one manipulating man against man, because he knows that they have turned their back on their living God. As long as man has turned his back or continue to turn his back on the God who created the heavens and the earth, there will be troubles. There will be trouble. There will be problem. There will be all these things that we are seeing today. African American, they are also in conflict with the black Africans who have immigrated or emigrated to the US. They are in trouble. They are in conflict. They are not happy. Some African Americans are not happy with the black Africans. This is trouble. This is war. This is trouble. This is confusion right now. There is confusion as a result of all these things that I'm talking about. What about the war in Congo? Africans killing themselves, fighting themselves. The battle of Sierra Leone and Liberia. We all know all these things. Muslims killing Christians, Christians killing Muslims, Christians killing themselves. This is what we see today. The war in Iraq, the war in Libya, unending battle in the Middle East, Kenyan terrorism. These are the things that has come out of turning away from God. Turning away from God. The discriminations among the Europeans. Somebody from the United Kingdom is not happy with somebody from Poland or from Ukraine. This is what is happening that we are seeing today. Discriminations among Africans. A Nigerian citizen is not in agreement with a Ghanaian citizen or a Kenyan citizen. This is what we see. A Kenyan citizen is against a South African citizen. South Africans killing themselves, killing their fellow South Africans. This is what we see. Because man has turned his back on God. The enemy behind the scene is happy, is rejoicing. Knowing that man cannot, know how he operates, because men has lost their way to their God, because he knows the weakest link of a man. He is using his best known secrets, to manipulate man, which is lies. The Bible calls him the one that comes to steal, to kill, to destroy. What does he use? His weapon is lies. His weapon is greed. His weapon is lust. He manipulates man, using them, lying to their heart to begin to quest after the things of the world, to be afraid of, not to trust in God, to be greedy, to be covetous. All these things that we are seeing is as a result of the devil, Satan, manipulating the heart of man. The heart of man. There is confusion in the world today. As long as men keep turning away from their God, there will be confusion. It's only those that know their God that is able to do exploit in these last days, because we are in the beginning of the last days. Those that know their God, they'll be able to do exploit. A person in darkness cannot see what is in darkness except the light shine. Jesus is the light of the world. If the world is able to embrace Christ, they are able to come out of their darkness. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. In these last days, we have to turn to our Maker. When a computer is malfunctioning, it is the manufacturer of that computer that is able to put it in place or put it in order. Human beings are like a computer to their Maker. It is time for the world to turn to Jesus. Thank you.